It is a whole new show, a whole new episode of The Profile with me, Timothy Nakwame Odum Addison. You can call me the finest Timmy. Today is going to be a very beautiful, revealing show because today here I have a very astute man, someone who is very delved into the industry, a very profound personality that I will have to discuss some topics here today. It is a privilege to have him. He happens to be someone who just recently celebrated his birthday, and he is in the person of Fred Che Mensah, Mr. Fred Che Mensah. Happy belated birthday, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Timo.
Yes, you are 61 and still looking fresh and energetic.
I'm not 61. Who told you that I'm 61?
You are more than 61.
No, I'm not 61. I haven't reached even 60.
Okay, so 65, right?
No,
61?
I'm down.
You are down.
The odd number between from when you're in the 50s, the two odd numbers before 60.
So we say.
So you guess.
I should guess.
Yeah, guess.
57 or 59.
So for now, do it.
This like how when you ask a lady.
See, in Africa or in Ghana, when you put your age, people will pension you.
Yes.
They will like ask you to go home. But in the creative industry, so far as you continue to live, definitely you're going to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So I'm of age.
Yeah.
However, my age is not, it's just a number, you know.
Yes, it is just a number indeed, because you look fresh and energetic, as I said.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Mr. Fred Che Mensah, you are a Ghanaian, that is, of course. But where were you born?
Okay, my name is Fred Che Mensah. If you come into our local parlance, you call me Kochi, because I was born on Monday, 11th of October, 1960-something. The place called Agu Asante Achum, Agu Hospital.
Okay.
According to my mother, she attended church on that Sunday, and then on that Monday, she gave birth to me. Prior to that, my elder brother was a 7-month-old baby. So they call it they have a term that they call it in the medical terminology.
Okay.
So she was afraid that when she was going to give birth to me, some of the friends convinced her that any child that she will bear will have that kind of premature
okay,
baby.
Premature
Baby.
Okay.
So she nearly aborted me. She told me that when she went to the clinic, the doctor brought some instruments in terms of surgical instruments, and she was afraid, so she had to leave the place. And here I am today. So I was born in Agogo, started my life in Kumasi, where my father was a storekeeper there, then GNTC, then came back to my hometown where my mother was coming to give birth to my brother who comes directly after me. So we came back to my hometown Agogo. Then I started class 1 there. So class 1, when we did exams, I was first, and then class 2, I was first too. So the teacher told my father to take me back to Kumasi. So I came to Kumasi and then continued at Royal International School, just behind the Kumasi Sports Stadium. We did our common entrance. In fact, I started doing common entrance from 1977. Yeah, that's where I started writing common entrance. Every time I passed, but there was one teacher who was, in our school. He was teaching him, Mr. James. I mean, he rest in peace. I mean, he had that kind of telepathy where he can see the future. So he told me to go to Prempeh College. I wanted to go to Achimate School or Fancy, but he asked me to go to Prempeh College. So when we did the common entrance, fortunately, I topped my class, and I went to Prempeh College. In Prempeh College, I met a lot of people, a lot of students. Most of them are in good standing in the society, and one of them is
Dr.
Matthew Prempeh, who happened to be my classmate. We sat in the same class.
And you were in a choir
together? Yeah, we were in the school choir together. I was singing tenor, he was singing alto. He's been a brother since then. That one. So I met a lot of people from the Lighthouse Church. Reverend Eddie Addy. We slept in the same room now. I think he's second to Doug Heward Mills or something of that sort. They were all my seniors. Honorable Obi Amwa was my senior in school.
Okay.
And a whole lot of people. So after school, I wanted to go to the medical school. I had a chance of going to the medical school in Germany, but unfortunately, my sponsor, in terms of monetary aspect, we had problems. So I decided to work with Shell Ghana Limited as a fuel station manager. Meanwhile, those times I was still in music.
Okay.
After secondary school, I was in music, doing music as part-time of my job. And I started the studio, sound engineering, buying books and learning them myself. So I worked with Shell from 1989 on the 26th of June till 15th January 1996 that I stopped working with Shell fuel station. Meanwhile, I was still doing the music as a music producer. And then finally, from the 15th of January 1996, I just concentrated fully on my studio recordings to date. So I've been in the music business. Next year will be 40 years.
40 years in the music industry.
Music industry, and I've produced a lot of people. As the conversation develops, you see a lot of...
Yes. Did your production journey began right from the choir as you were singing?
Yes. There's a guy called Mido Studio. Mido Studio is at Salam Down. His father was our music teacher at Prempeh College. So I took some few lessons from him in terms of keyboards playing. Already. I didn't know the rudiments small, because when you go to our hometown, my grandfather was a trumpeter at the local Presbyterian church. So music has been part of our family. My mother was with the Presbyterian church choir and then the singing band. My grandfather was a trumpeter. My uncle was playing the keyboards and guitar, Nana Buje. So he taught me rudiments of music. But I expanded it further when I went to Prempeh College through the hands of our music teacher's son, Dominican Sansa, who owns Mido Studio now in Oyibi in Accra here. So it was through that I learned the music. And at that time, it was very difficult for one to get hold of a keyboard for himself until Yamaha and then Casio started developing this kind of small keyboard that we had access to. Other than that, it was a church organ. And they will never allow you. The church elders will never allow you to play if you are not a son of the pastor, the catechist, or a church elder. No, an ordinary church member, they will not allow you to play. So most of the people who were playing keyboards at that time, if you go to the relics of time in terms of their history, most of them, their fathers were the head teachers of a school that had access to the piano. They were the what you call choir masters, music tutors, or headmasters. They had access to those, like Mr. Simons and all of those other people. The late Kwesi Obu, and a whole lot of people. They had access to keyboard. We didn't have access to keyboard. So when I completed school after sixth form, I wanted to go to medical school, and I didn't get the chance. I started working with Shell as a fuel station manager. And when you get to Accra from Circle, when you're going to Nima Police Station, there's a fuel station on your right hand. I was handling there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It has been there for that long?
Yeah, I was the manager there, the youngest Shell manager.
Great.
I quite remember when Ghana transited from the military rule to the current NDC. I was supplying. That's right. I was supplying NDC with fuel on credit. In 1992 from at the first stage. I supplied the late Banred, who was the minister for finance. I also gave him petrol too. He's my uncle, so I was giving him fuel to go and do campaign. So I've been working with Shella. Then when I close, I go to work in my studio. So it was in 1989 that I came into contact with my current wife. My wife. Yes. We're boyfriends and girlfriends.
35 years now.
That's right. 35 years. And then we married on the 28th of August 1993. That was official marriage. After we had stayed for 4 years before we married, and we had our first son on the 14th of February. Fortunately, James, and he also is a prolific singer in the gospel vein.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. Wow. And then I concentrated solely on my studio. So I started training some people. And my first student was JQ.
JQ?
Yeah, JQ was my first student. I trained him as a sound engineer. We were all attending the same church.
Which year was this?
That was 1994-95.
Okay.
So next year, this year is 30 years. 30 years that I started training JQ. We were all in the Living Bread Church where Daughters of Glory just attended. Yes. I quite remember when Daughters of Glory Jesus came with the album 34 years ago. When they were launching it, I was there at the Orion Cinema at the Circle. I was playing keyboards for them. They were around 18 years and a whole lot of things. We were part of the church music. GQ was my assistant keyboardist. He had then completed sixth form. So he told me that he wanted to learn the rudiments of sound engineering. So anytime that we close from church or maybe during the week, he would come to the studio and I would be teaching him. So he was my first student. Meanwhile, we were also recording other people, So JQ became the first student. Then Don Waxy, a guy from Achimota School, second, Apietus.
Apietus, yes.
Became the third person. Then Mante and a whole lot of things. So before I realized, I had trained about 72 sound engineers, both Ghana, Togo, Nigeria, and then Liberia. Liberians were a lot, yes, because they were coming from the Liberia camp here. I had it.
Okay.
Yeah, the UN, gave the option for them to come and do training at my place. So I trained about 15 Liberian sound engineers. Most of them are domiciled in the US of A now.
So at that time, your studio was professionally established.
Yes. Now let me tell you the studio background. You see, between 87, 80 to 19, there were only about 3 studios in Ghana here. 4. The present day TV3 studio.
Okay.
It was known as Ghana Films.
Ghana Films.
And then the present day Lighthouse Cathedral at North Kaneshi. There was a studio called Elephant Walk.
Elephant, okay.
And then when you go to Kumasi, to Ambassador Records.
Is it Elephant Walk that the late Willie Roy was?
No, Willie Roy was at Axe Studios.
Okay.
So Axe Studio came around 1990. 89, 90.
Okay.
The Axe Studio.
Okay.
But there were 1 or 2 guys who were having studios. But these were the main studios. And then came Fredima Studios around 1990.
Okay.
My place became the flashpoint in terms of programming.
Okay.
Because I was the only person having 3 computers at that time. 34 years in Ghana.
Yes.
To program music. It was called Atari.
Okay.
So people will queue up, come and rent this thing and then go and use it to program. So the Atari was basically a sequencer. When you talk of a sequencer, you can only play the beat. You can't really record
the programming.
So my place became the programming point. That's why a lot of people pass through. So you have to pass through my place, play your beat, and then we send them to the other studio. So it was not until 1993 that a studio at Mateko called CHM, Combined House of Music, came.
Combined House of, yes.
With the state-of-the-art
equipment.
And then that's where we started. So I had a deal with them. People will come and program at my place. Then we send the distance there. That's right. So we're doing it alongside my shell work. And then case frequency also came at that time. So I eventually stopped working with Shell in 1996 and then concentrated on my music. Prior to that, I had discovered a lady called Selena Ollins Lindsay.
Okay.
We were all staying at Latibia Kochi. I told her that when I was working with Shell, I was still doing the music business. So after working with Shell, then the evening, I'll come back to my studios. Yeah, so the first person that I discovered in the music industry
was a lady
called Selena Ollins. We were all living in the area, Latibia Kochi. One day I was strumming my guitar alongside, and then she came, then she started singing. I said, oh, wow, this lady is younger. You can sing. So she became my partner. We were going for programs. I was playing keyboard and we'll be singing. And I think she was one of the first people that I made Lumba produce. And then we will come to that one because that Lumba story comes from Ofuriam Ponsa.
Okay.
So between 1990, 91, I had a studio. People were coming from my distance until 1992. Ofuriam Ponsa, who happened to come from my hometown.
Okay,
Agogo. He was a friend to my uncle, my youngest uncle. And then he had done his demo at Konongo. But my uncle told him that he has a nephew in Accra who has gadgets. At that time, if you had keyboards that had that kind of rhythms inside, and then you can play, Charlie, you were on top.
You had a G.
Yeah, so he directed him. So he came all the way from Konongo to my shop at the Ring Road. I was there. Then he came that he wanted to let me do demo for you. Unfortunately, when he came, the keyboard I was using at that time had developed a fault, so I had to go to Accra near the UTC to buy another new keyboard, and that's where I did his demo for him. And the Jenny Matthew, of those kind of. I did about 4. Then I held his hand and then took him to Lumba's house at Domi, where Lumba also listened to the song and then decided to produce Ofuriam Ponsa, and the rest is history.
Then let's go back to Selena. I want to know what happened to her.
Yes, Yes, Selena. So this is what happened. In the Christmas of 1992, yes, Uframosa brought Lumba to my house at Latibia Kochi. Okay. Fortunately, Selena was there. And then we introduced Selena that this girl too can sing. Lumba said one day she will produce Selena. So fortunately, when Lumba opened his shop for CDs and cassettes, it was Selena lady who was handling yeah, because I don't think she had finished JE Institute for what do we call it, accountancy and secretariatship. Yeah. Okay. So she became the sales girl for Lumba shop, and then Lumba later traveled to UK where she went to back her on stage, and then she never returned. So now she's a citizen of the UK for the past 25 years. Okay. Yeah, so that's what happened to Selena Ollins Lindsay, and then Ofram Ponsan also went to Lumba's label, and then they were traveling all over. Whilst I also handling other artists like Kofi B, the late Dasebe Gamina. I can't remember Dasebe Gamina. They are all my discoveries. His Kokoko song, I played the original. So I played that one, and there was a man called Bruce Taylor. Mr. Taylor, he just died, I think last day. He was supposed to produce the album. Okay. Before we realized that Dasebe had taken the song to Okreku Mante, and because Okreku knew that the song was a hit, he just went straight and there's a mallet program. So before we realized that song had been out, while Dasebe had also collected money from the man, the other person. Yeah, so it became a problem. I wanted to even release the original version, but I told the man that let's leave it, and then so Kofi B came, Kiki Fosus, the Saminis. We tell them before. At that time, I was still training up here too, and I had also worked with Kwame Yeboah. Who worked with Craig David. Yeah, they were all my studio session men. And then I can remember Samini too was a student at St. Mary, Margaret Mary at Dansuma. He was a student, and there were some guys called Five. Do you know 5-5? 5-5. Yeah, they were at Adabaka, and then another group called Legal Amamre. Okay. I was recording them when Samini also came to join them. Okay. At that time, too, I was also recording this lady, Bere Japan. And at that time, Samini too was on top. We were considering either him or Sonny Bali featuring, and I think Sonny Bali came to do that kind of. Unfortunately, he too is died. So from that time, I started churning out a lot of musicians. In fact, if you go to the north, almost till 2015 that I lost my studio to the flat, 85% of songs that were coming from the north were produced from your studio. So Black Rasta is mine. I discovered him in my studio. The first studio that he worked was mine. My studio, Black Rasta.
He did the one for campaign Obama song.
The Obama song cry was 2008. That one cry was far cry hard.
Okay.
Yeah, the Obama song was 2008, but in 2008 I went on tour with him. He was using my instrument, so I would set up the instrument and then he'll be playing live. So in the early 2000s, that I discovered Celestine Donko too. Celestine. Yeah, and they wrote this song. Yes. I wrote that song, did the chorus and everything, and then she also added the other verse.
That means you do writing as well.
Oh yes, I'm very good.
You compose the songs, not just the beat.
I compose the song and then just the beat. So that's why I also give my son MENSAH. Songs. Myself and Kofi B did that song for him. So from then, a lot of people passed through. Hima Messi, she was a teacher at I think Kufuria. She came to back somebody. Her first studio experience was at my place, And then they follow Kiki Fusu too. They all passed through the place and a whole lot of before joining Nana. There was a guy that's why I've forgotten the name. I mean, most of them also passed through.
Yes.
Until I became a board member for the VGMEs.
Right.
So in fact, as of 2015, I was the longest serving board member of the VGMEs. Yeah, VGME. I was from Charterhouse. I was the longest serving board member. And then I think through that one, a lot of discoveries were made. A whole lot of things. So my journey in terms of my music journey has been very well received. A lot of people have passed through my hands, made discoveries, all of them are enjoying. If you go to UK, there's a guy called KYEI, Kwaku. They all Sonny Rhymes. So they are all protégés from my studio. We used to come from Legon, come and then Willie and Mike, all of them have passed through a whole lot of. So Fedima, when I talk of my craft, I mean, there have been several people who have passed through. Sometimes I just forget. I have to go through my list, but as we go along in terms of conversation.
You said something. You said, take your time and read. Music evolves. However, music notations has never changed. Since its creation, do, re, mi, fa, so still remains the same.
Yes.
Right? Now, between 1990 through to 2020, right? 2000. There came the hip life.
Okay.
Within this space, how was that rotation? Because we were all enjoying high life, and then boom, hip life.
Yeah, hip life was an amalgamation of high life and then hip hop, and the term was coined by Reggie Rockstone. Before that, people had started doing that kind of music, but like the Native Funk Laws and the other people at Kiki's Frequency, but they didn't name it hip life. So the term hip life, the credit goes to Reggie Rockstone. He coined and they popularized it. But there are other people who were also doing those kind of, the same kind of, high life with rap on it. But they didn't name it hip life. And I think Reggie's own cemented the idea of people also coming after that genre of music. So if you look at it, the Bradfords and the TH Fokwajis, all those guys who came along that time all took it as hip life. Then came 2004 when Apietus was also making a lot of hits. JQ, Jama also came in. They also named it something different, contemporary high life or something like that. But all of them have the basic tenets of high life. They all ride on the 4/4 time signature, but different perspective in terms of the cooking. For instance, you can have a benquine, palm nut soup, you can add kobe or other so. You can have varieties of them. But at the end of the day, the basic ingredient is the palm oil to it. So in terms of music, yes, it has evolved, but because of marketing sake, that's why a lot of them name it after other genres like hip hop. They wanted to deviate to test the market and say that look, we have the same high life, but it's a different vein. Because most of the high life that we're playing tries on certain instruments. You have to have the strumming of the guitar. But in terms of the hip life, sometimes they strum the guitar, sometimes they don't strum. And they have a high snare beat and the high kick beat to add to it, to make it a bit funkier. So these were the elements that were, disassociating itself from the main highlight. But now they are saying it's called Afrobeat. To me, as a legend in the music, they are all the same. It's just nomenclature, system of naming. But they all fall into the same kind of hairline.
In all this, you were married to your wife.
Oh yes.
And I'm just imagining the busyness, the schedule. You going here, you going. How did you come about that? Meet her and then.
Yeah, you see, I was very fortunate when I left Shell, my studio, setting up a studio. It was my mother-in-law who gave me a place.
Okay.
Normally, in our Akan settings and the Ghanaian setting, if a man marries, he has to take the wife to his own home. Yes, I was taking my wife to my own home. I had rented an apartment, and my mother-in-law told me, "Young man, you have just married my daughter." Yes, for the local parliament, they will tell you, "No, I don't stay with you." But I have a lot of rooms here. Rather for you to go and rent other rooms and pay, why don't you stay here? And then I have some lands at Pukwasi whole lot. I can give you one, and then maybe you and your wife will go and develop it. And I thought it was a very good advice. So I was staying with my mother-in-law, and then she gave me a place to establish Fredima Studios. So Fredima Studios wouldn't have been there without my wife and then my mother. So the name Fredima is, I'm Fred and my wife is Emma. So Fred and Emma, Fredima. That came. That's why. So from there, I established my studio until I built my house and then moved my studio. So currently, where I am is my own house, and I have my own studio there with my wife as my partner in terms of. So the name is Fredima. It's my wife and I. In fact, we started even registering the company when we had not even gone for the family rituals of marrying ourselves. But when we were staying as a boyfriend and then girlfriend, we had really established our company as Fredima Studios. That's why we're able to stay long for. Let me say this for us to laugh over it. I like women with big ass, yeah. So when I had one, I had to stay there. So that's where I have stayed there till now.
Yes.
And baby, I love my wife as she is. Even as we are growing, I still love her.
On that Arsenal note, we are going for a very breather, and then when we return, we will still talk even before and after the Arsenals. This is the profile.
In the heart of every community, there are stories of courage and resilience. I'm Abigail Bediako, a staff nurse at CASA Family Clinic. October is here again, and it's the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Breast cancer is one of the leading causes of cancers among women worldwide and here in Ghana as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Fridalyn Adole Papo, a pharmacist at CASA Family Clinic. I'm here to educate you all on breast cancer. Detection is the right treatment for breast cancer. How do you detect it? By knowing the common signs and symptoms of breast cancer, which include lumps in the breast, bloody discharge from the breast, nipple retraction, change in color of the breast, and then the shape and the size of the breast also changes.
I am Dr. Dennis with CASA Family Clinic. There is a myth about breast cancer that the only treatment option available is breast surgery, but that is not true. There are various treatment options available for breast cancer, depending on the stage of the cancer. These include radiation therapy, hormonal therapy, biological therapy, chemotherapy, and the breast mastectomy itself.
Welcome back. This is still the finest Timmy on E2T Business Radio, and this still remains the Profile Show. And I am here with Mr. Freche Mensah. The conversation still rolls. Yes. So, Mr. Mensah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we talked about your mother-in-law coming in to sort things out for you, your wife. Also, you mentioned what you like about women and all that. Amidst all this, what has been your challenge in all this journey? Your personal challenge?
For challenges, they do happen alongside. My first challenge was getting equipment those days. It was very, very, very difficult for you to get studio equipment because we had a hardware type. Everything you have to buy in terms of the mixer, the speakers, and all other things. But now, with one laptop, you have everything embedded there. So cash flow in terms at that time was a problem, but because I was working with Shell, I could get one or two things for me to meander my way through. And then getting clients was also another problem. But I developed a strategy that you don't enter Fredima Studio and go scot-free. Even if you have one CD, I will know how to handle you. You see, a lot of people want to record, but they are afraid to come to the studio. So you have to demystify that kind of fact. That, okay, you have the talent, come. How much do you have? I want to collect 1,000 CDs from you. How much do you have? Well, have 100 CDs. Come. I'll play it for you. Once I play it for you, it will ginger you to go and find the money and then come and pay the rest of the them. So these are some of my tricks that I've been using a lot, to get clients from as I'm still using that one. And then The worst happened on the 3rd of June, 2015. Yeah, the flood came. If you remember, 9 years ago, there was a flood in Accra here, Circle to be precise, flood and fire. It consumed all that I worked for my studio. I had about 10 cars with my state-of-the-art equipment in terms of live band equipment, studio. I had all this studio equipment, cameras and all. One day I lost everything. So from 2015 till on the 18th of December 2021, I wasn't working in the studio. Yeah. I was just gallivanting around, you know. You go to this place, like your studio, I'll come and hand you a sound, you pay me something small, I'll go to this TV station. I'll do many job until somebody had mercy on me and then gave me money to go and buy new equipment. So from 2021, I've started operating my studio again. And as I'm sitting right now, clients are even waiting for me to.
Fredima Studios
right,
is back.
Back at Pukwasi, just after the interchange, you know.
Oh,
that's right.
I probably would have to pass through for
you
some
need to. You need to.
recording.
You need to.
Yes, yes. I'm sure that will be done. Before we wrap up with this segment called The Profile, I would ask, because you mentioned your friend, you were mates with Mr. Opoku, right? Dr. Matthew Opoku. Yes. You said on your Facebook, you wrote that until victory is assured, you are not stopping the campaign for him. Team Baumia and then Napo, I should say. Should I say your affiliation with the NPP happens to be the fact that you are friends with Mr. Napo?
Not really. I'm a political animal. I love politics. My first political rally was in 1969. When I was a kid, you know, my father, I can't remember sitting on my father's neck and watching Dr. Buzia. In 1979, I participated in the elections of 1979 after Rawlings came.
Yes.
That's 45 years ago. We were filing posters for them. 1992, as I told you, working with Shell, I was supplying NDC and the MPP with fuel.
Yes, you said that, yes.
That's right. 2000, I supported J. Kufuor, and myself and Nanan Kroma did a jingle. Kufuor, J. Kufuor, you remember?
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. When Sky Power opening Takrady, we did jingles for them. Then I've been following politics. 2008, myself, the current minister, deputy minister for tourism, arts and culture, Okrekumante,
yes.
Nana Ufuriata, Fidel Ufuriata, Sukri Safo, Helen Omabo, Bandes, Kachi Kwame Pianandes, and then A+. We form the Creative Arts for Change. That people in the creatives, but people are afraid. People in the creative industry are afraid to join political party. I said, no. We have our classmates and friends in the political device. So why, if I'm a creative person, why shouldn't I join? So, in fact, we were one of the people that advocated for people to put themselves into politics, especially the creative industry. And we have followed. When I was at Abradabaka, I was a coordinator for MPP in that area. So now I'm part of the communication team.
Yes.
For the creative arts in terms of, so I love politics, but
politics.
Devoid of insults.
Yes.
I will never go and then insult my opponent. Never. For instance, for me to go and stand and then insult President Mahama, I will never do that, because if I had him as a brother or an uncle, I was like, he's been a president before in this country, so I will never disrespect him. Though our political inclinations are different, we share common goals as well. So my politics is quite different. I'm a very liberal person. I go straight to the point. So if you look at most of my postings, I don't even mention my opponent's name. It's straight to what I want to get. That's what I do my politics.
That's right.
But because as at now, I've been going to Power FM. Power FM is solely
NDC.
Yeah, NDC. And people are even saying TV3, but I'm also still with Nana Mama program on here. TV. So I don't do my politics like that. No, I'm for all. But my inclination in terms of my ideology in terms of politics falls with the MPP. And nothing can change it.
Yes. Because of time, this is all that we can discuss about. You are a walking
encyclopedia.
Yes. You are walking. Yes. A whole lot of history can come out from you. Yes, you are clever. Yes. It has been The Profile with me, Timothy Nana Kwame Odum Addison. And this has been my guest, Mr. Che Mensah. Thank you for being here.
Timo, I'm always welcome here. Am I?
Yes.
Whenever you call me, we continue. This is the first phase of the we go into details, when we come the next time in terms of how artists rose from my place, from grass to grace. And I will give you all the history about almost all of them, how they came, despite all of them. I can't remember Kwame Despite. He came into my studio those times, sitting on my floor and we were chatting together. Darling, we have a lot to tell.
There is lots to tell. On the profile, another time, it will be with me, Timothy, and Mr. Che Mensah. Until we meet again, we say, stay blessed.
Thank you.